Hello, it's me Harley, back at it again for yet another video, and today I shall be talking about ghosts, and whether or not I believe in them, and why that's the case. To start with, I'll say that as a kid, I was 110% a believer in ghosts and spirits. In fact, I was pretty religious as a kid, up until I was about 10 years old, and I pretty much know the exact day when I kind of gave up on religion and I'll explain to you why that was the case. I went to Church of England schools, celebrated Christian celebrations, and was generally raised in a rather Christian environment. As a kid, I was very religious, even though, strangely enough, I was never baptised. This kind of goes into why I started questioning religion, like spirituality and like whether ghosts exist and all that jazz. Because even though I'd been raised this way, my dad had a very on-off relationship with being part of the Church of England. I'm going to out him here a bit. He says he's atheist. That's it. He's fully atheist. I'd say he's more agnostic than he puts on, because he still keeps in contact with the reverend who married him. He still insisted on getting married inside churches and things. He still mentions like Christian beliefs and things like that. So I think there may be more to it than he lets on. But he says he's an atheist. And I can kind of understand why, because he had a pretty big falling out with God. As I said, he was married in church, and when my parents got to 10 years of being married together, they renewed their vows in the same church with the same reverend and things like that, which they'd kept in contact with. And people will think, oh, but maybe that was because they were married for that amount of time before I was born. No, I was at both their wedding and the renewal of their vows. Admittedly, I don't remember their wedding. I was 9 months old at the time, but I was there. So why didn't I get baptised in that kind of 10-year gap? That's because my dad fell out big time with God. Cat, don't move me tripod. Cat. What? Have you been to your drug dealer again? Have you found catnip? I'm guessing so, because that's the only explanation for why you're so hyperactive at 4 AM. So why did my dad fall out with God? Let's put it this way. In the space of the first 6 years of my life, my dad lost both of his parents, one very suddenly and unexpectedly, and one after quite a long and nasty battle with going in and out of hospital and cancer. My mum is a cancer survivor and got cancer when I was 5. My granddad on my mum's side had died before they were even married, but that was just the start of the things that went wrong. Basically, since I was born, things have been chaotic in their life ever since. And I'm sorry, Mum and Dad, I think I might have cursed you, because we haven't exactly had a run of good luck, have we? Nah. I mean, obviously we do have good things that happen to us, but when things go bad, they go bad. I don't think the chaos has ever really stopped. But in those 5 years, he lost a lot of his family, a lot of close members, and was made redundant, and was facing potentially losing his wife. Let's put it this way, I'm not going to go into big details about it, that's my mum's story, but there was a point where she was considering writing birthday cards up until my 21st birthday. That gives you the kind of idea what frame of mind they were in and the situation. So all in all, Dad fell out with God big time, hence why I was never baptised. But he ended up forgiving God enough to renew his vows at the church when I was 10. So, yeah, as I said, he says he's completely atheist. I don't really believe him. I'm outing you, Dad. I know you'll watch this. So, I was saying when I stopped being devout. When I stopped praying on a very, very regular basis and believing in the Bible. I mean, to be fair, I was pretty... I asked a lot of questions, shall we say. So, my poor vicar, whenever he came into school and stuff, he would have a bit of a hard time with me because although I was definitely 100% on God's side, I was not a Satanist as a kid. I did often question God. I did quite often go, why isn't God the bad guy in this, like, whole Bible situation? And there were a few questions that I made asking why Satan was the, like, bad guy. So, yeah, I've always been the kind of person to question things in the first place. And it didn't help when I started asking these questions to my dad, who at the time was in an on and off relationship with God. I remember very clearly that I stopped really being religious and went atheist for quite a while when I was 10 and in year 6. I remember very clearly that that day the vicar had been in to do an assembly and I'd been really intensely listening, and this assembly was basically about heaven and death. Well, I decided to ask my dad on the way home from school some questions and ask what he believed in. Let's just say he shattered my Christian 10-year-old beliefs. No, don't scratch that. Sorry, my cat's telling me off because I told her off for scratching something. Yeah, some pot. He really made an impact that day, let's say that. I don't know if somebody had wound him up at work and he was just being a bit too blunt with the situation, or whether it was just a case of, you know what, I'm going to be honest with my daughter, which I respect, and say what I believe, only he said it in probably a bit too much of a terse way for 10-year-old me to really cope with. I asked him what he believes happens to us when we die. And he basically told me, we don't go to heaven, we don't go to hell, we rot in the ground. You remember what it was like before you were born? Oh yeah? No, you don't. Well, that's what it's going to be like when you die. It's going to be exactly the same situation as before you were born. I remember half of the car journey home that day was just in silence as I kind of comprehended the information that I'd been given. And as somebody who really believed in their mum and dad and basically believed everything they said, because the vast majority of kids do, especially when they have a close relationship to their parents like I do, I just believed him. Just like I did when he told me that if I watched or associated with anything Disney, I'd catch stupid and wouldn't be able to get a job when I was older. That's a different video. I've already done it before. I'll link it below, but yeah. He would tell me things and I would 100% believe them regardless of whether it was logical or not. And for quite a while, I was atheist. That was until I was about 15, 16. And I decided to start trying to get answers for myself. I started looking into like ghosts and spirits and all that jazz. Well, I've never been fully convinced ghosts exist. I don't believe in ghosts because personally I haven't seen something that's factually hard-hitting enough for me to be convinced. But at the same time, as I've kind of questioned things and looked into things and experienced things for myself, I can't rule them out either. I'm not like my dad, who every single time ghosts are mentioned in the house starts quoting Professor Brian Cox and the second law of thermodynamics and all that jazz, because I believe in that kind of thing as well, but I also believe potentially there could be something else. Anyway, I'm going a bit too deep into the kind of sciencey stuff now, but generally speaking, I think it's healthy to question these things and not just 100% rule something out, because there have been so many times in history where something has been said that this is definitely the case and they've been wrong. So I am in the state of mind where I don't believe in ghosts, but I don't disbelieve in them either. I'm very skeptical as to whether they exist, which is why I really enjoy going on ghost hunts and exploring these things, which is why I've got a Ouija board. Oh jeez, I say Ouija board and my little black cat zonks past like Speedy Gonzales. Yep, that was just a coincidence, wasn't it, little one? Yes. That's what my beliefs are. So, in the future, if I'm doing a ghost hunt and I'm kind of mucking around a bit, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just trying to get hard-hitting, like, evidence for me to say I can't question it that ghosts exist. I have had a few paranormal experiences, which some of them I can't fully explain. Some of them I have got answers to that would make sense. There are two situations that bear in mind which I've never fully been able to provide answers for, but they also didn't hit me strong enough to say, yes, ghosts exist. My cat is currently standing on my doll's house. Get off! It's a model doll's house, not like a kid's doll's house. But yeah, oh jeez, she's going crazy. Please ignore her. I'll try to. When I have told people about a few of my experiences before in the past, they have asked me how the heck I don't believe in ghosts. Like, they said, if you genuinely believe what you have seen and it is exactly how you've described it, how the hell do you not believe in ghosts? And that's simply because as I said, it's never hit me hard enough. The whole reason why I do these things is because I want to find out. So, before my cat throws something at me, I'm going to say toodle pip or beans and see you next time. Leia's going to say toodle pip or beans and see you next time. And, yeah, get off my dad's ukulele. Get off my dad's... Say bye-bye, Leia. Toodle pip or beans and see you in the next video, because I have a lot planned and I plan to be coming back to twice a week.